By now, we've all heard of fake golf clubs imitating the real ones. But what I haven't seen is a knockoff golf club disguising itself not to look like the real thing. And the big question is, why would you even do that? However, if I have something in this box that is inspired by TITLEIST, performs close to what a TITLEIST club does, where do we draw the line between patent infringement and good value equipment? I guess only Kirkland can truly answer that question. So let me get the box open and show you what we're working with. The company brand that I found on Timo is called Kalong. And even though they've copied other brands in terms of their style of wedges, irons, you name it, they definitely have a sweet spot for inspiration from TITLEIST. But this is the first I've seen. Typically, it's just clubs that make it as close as possible to what a Scotty Cameron or Vokey should look like. Even sometimes just taking the brand name off, and I'm sure over the years there's been some kind of legal battles to stop certain companies making knockoff TITLEIST, TaylorMade, Ping, you name it. However, this seems like a new age because typically fake golf clubs were to trick the beginner, the novice, too good to be true kind of deal. Whereas what I have here, you have to be quite well versed. I saw it from a mile off, but most beginners would look at this £50 club and go, well, that just looks quite cool, doesn't it? So roughly £50 spent and 2 weeks waiting. Box has arrived. Let's see what they look alongside each other, shall we? The Kalong 3-iron. No branding, but again, I'll show you the telltale signs of how I knew this was a TITLEIST inspired driving iron. But from first glances, and especially the weight side of it, I mean, that feels quite legit. Right, here they are side by side, and you can see the little emblem there at the bottom of the Kalong driving iron as well as the TITLEIST. And to be fair, they are very similar, apart from the fact this one isn't filled in black, and obviously the TITLEIST is. And again, in terms of the shape, head design, size, I mean, they are very close to each other. I'd like to say the U505 is a bit more deeper from heel to top line compared to the Kalong. And because I'm an absolute nerd, the number 3 on the website did stick out. This 3 is quite signature, but now I look at them alongside each other, the TITLEIST UI5 being on the right here, that 3 on the Kalong is actually completely different. It's actually curved rather than straight. And then face on, same amount of grooves, but to be honest, the Kalong has much bigger grooves, and I'll be interested to see how that performs. However, one of these clubs is USGA conforming, meaning it's been sent off, it's been tested, and it's been deemed illegal to use in competitive play. This one on the right-hand side isn't. It's not to say that it couldn't be. It hasn't been sent off. It hasn't been registered. Looking at the size of the grooves, I imagine this probably would fail, but it does answer an interesting question in the future, especially if we see the performance. If this does perform, again, I have no idea. How many more of these brands that kind of like brands, but different logos, different types, different shafts? Not forgetting all the Kirkland balls and irons were approved by the USGA. It was only the other brands that felt like that they got copied and cheated that actually took it to court. So TITLEIST U505 up first. I've got a stiff hazardous graphite shaft in here. Obviously, I've ordered a stiff. Whether it's a stiff, I have no idea. That still is not a fair test. The point is, normally upwards of £200 brand new. And obviously the Kalong 3-iron, around £50. Well, it can't really be a much better start for the TITLEIST driving iron. I think my point is for a beginner, someone just starting, that needs a fairway finder, swings fast like I did when I started the game, but they love their 5-iron. Their 5-iron does 200 yards down the middle, does a 50 quid job. Even though it might not be made of the finest materials, does it just get them down the fairway? Just like I needed to when I started. Or alternatively, buy an old Strixon driving iron, like this one here for 50, 60 quid. This is my typical shot pattern with the driving iron. Obviously 3 I'm happy with, 1 I've pulled, this one I've blocked right as I did there on the last, but it's gone 33 yards offline, 233, Typically on that hole, I'm still in play. I'm still playing like a wedge 9, 8, 7 iron into the green. I'm just trying to get a feel for what these sit like alongside each other. And to be perfectly honest, do you know what? I'm just going to show you. They do look incredibly similar together. I would say potentially, I don't know if it's the way I'm just lining it up. I almost want to say that this one is less offset, the Kalong. I'm almost going to see more of the face from here. I don't know if that's just where the camera is, but overall, side by side, I mean, they are virtually the same. And also exactly the same length as well. Right, here goes nothing then. That surprisingly has gone the same speed and actually felt quite solid. Surprisingly solid. Didn't quite go as far as my last pull, but that was the first one. Let's hit a few more. I'm not sure they're going to be happy about this. Definitely feels lighter than a stiff, hence why I feel these want to go a bit more to the left-hand side. I can't quite describe to you how solid that feels. It almost feels like I'm drop kicking them down there. That's fascinating, to be perfectly honest. Oh, that was a bit heely. That's the first one I haven't hit quite as well, to be perfectly honest. And that's gone even more left. That is absolutely flushed. I'm going to show you the very interesting comparison in a minute, but I think this is so important for me when I talk about any club, because I'm almost looking at this club now as more of a DTC brand. I mean, get rid of the forge, get rid of the number at the top there, maybe change the styling a touch more and just say, Simon, we have a 50, 60 pound driving iron we'd love you to test. Because for the numbers I'm about to show you, I still feel this is too close to the market. I still feel like this is selling under someone else's brand image. I'm sure they haven't got the blueprints of what a U505 has in it, for example, but what they've made here for 50 odd pounds is quite astounding. For example, smash factor at the top there, 1.41 on average. Obviously, poor strike, good strike, good strike, poor strike, good strike, etc. Exactly the same, 1.41. However, we can't get over the fact how close both of these clubs are, but there is a difference. A 200 or 150 pound difference, I will leave that up to you guys to decide. But on average, the U505 went further. It's very clear to see. If I get rid of this poor swing, which is purely down to me, let's be honest, and with that bad shot out the way, we can see the Titleist on average launching higher, spinning slightly less, giving ourselves more distance than the Kalong. Not to mention the better shaft choice, as I very much know the Hazardous 6.0 is a stiff and has very low torque. However, for a 3 iron that's been sent halfway across the world, competing against one of the biggest brands in golf, with an unbranded shaft, an unbranded grip, and a semi-decent golf YouTuber that can swing the club relatively fast, I think we can all agree it performed quite well. And personally, if they stopped copying other people's looks and spent a bit more time on their own brand, I think it wouldn't be just Titleist that would be annoyed. I think it'd be quite a few more manufacturers. Guys, if you've got any questions on your golf bag or golf game, sasgolfacademy.com. Catch you guys later.